Hello everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed here, and we have returned back to the Letter Horror visual novel game. Soon enough, I found myself drawn to the kitchen where the right butler has returned to. He's already claimed the space and telling movers to back off, and none dares to question his proclamation either. My kitchen, no kinder allowed, little men running around with knives especially. We do not want any accidents to happen now, do we? Gut, gut. I mean, it is a knife-wielding German stand there. I don't think anybody would be insane enough to refuse his request. I hope I meet the age restriction, or at least the height restriction, because I'm asking to be let in here. You are allowed inside, miss, but not the little ones. A shake of my head and a roll of my eyes is all I give. It's not like I'm going to be of any trouble to him. I just need to look around, get my bearings. The breakfast has been distraction enough. The breakfast had been distraction enough. I don't even want to think about what we just talked about. I just need to get my head straight and get back to work. The movers work efficiently even when they're left alone, and they do quick work of their responsibilities. The head foreman comes standing in the doorway to consult me on this or that, and I have to go help out every now and then. But they pretty much have everything up to standards. They skip lunch entirely, not even realizing when they do so. Nevertheless, all is well as the butler gets to heating up the leftover bubble and squeak from breakfast and makes a generous batch of fish and chips for them. Most likely simple in comparison to what he serves to the rice, but well done nonetheless. That smells good. Want to wrap up some for me to go? It's an idle observation more than anything else. My thoughts, as they are, preoccupy me, if there are any left. One can't go wrong with fish and chips. Everyone loves them, even my husband, and he's American. I really do hate getting up so close and personal with my clients. It's a distraction. It is obvious to me that I've got my priorities all wrong when I can't help but think about what I heard, what I learnt about the right couple. These fiends have a way of creeping up on a person, thoughts, ideas, whether they are fact or fiction. They creep up and fester, cruel and reef in a way that twists. I hear giggling, delighted, and mocking. They creep up, and the sensation of fingers ghosting briefly on my arms causes me to freeze and hiss. Don't. I half expect her to be here. Wah! No need to scream bloody murder. It's just me. Quiet down before you break glass. But it's just whiskey. Don't do that again, ever. I don't like being scared. For I don't believe in the likes of spooks. Being startled is not on top of the list of things Marianne likes. Lucky for him, I have nothing within reach, or he would have gone on friendly terms with something like a rolling pin. What was with that reaction? Were you really scared? Has Jonas been telling you a ghost story? He just loves to scare people. Isn't that right, Brother Grimm? The butler expression is unreadable. I hardly see any emotion in his face to begin with since I started working for the rights, aside from vague amusement. There must be something there through. Judging from Mr. Wright's own constant look, the expression on Mr. Wright's face is almost cruel. But neither of them spoke, even as Jonas leaves the room to serve the workers their late lunch. So now that we're alone, Marianne, what are you so jumping for? I was just thinking about all the urban legends the movers have been telling me about this place. Don't tell you believe in that tosh. They're nothing but tales made up to scare children. Timmy, Billy, don't you dare go up that big mansion and get in trouble there. The ghosts are going to get ya. That's a boring way to look at it, but that's usually what it is anyway, no? Like I said, I was just thinking. It would be a relief, actually, if those rumours of this place being haunted is true. That just means I'm not going bonkers. Hearing, let alone seeing, a dead person isn't exactly the symptoms of a healthy mind. Sure, it means there would be such things such as girls and goblins. But at least I'd be sane. On the other hand, there would actually be a dead girl walking around. If you could excuse the inane question, Mr. Wright, you haven't noticed anything weird here. And simple enough question on the surface. Yeah, I mean the man stiffened as the question leaves my mouth. I wouldn't have noticed it if I wasn't watching his reaction intently, but in his eyes, I see something dangerous. That depends on your definition of the word weird. Are we still on the topic of this place being haunted? Because no, things have not started to fly around and we have yet to require exorcism. I don't think my head would like to do the whole 180-degree turn thing. Or maybe that, but no strange people. Aside from my usual weird butler and all the weird men trespassing around, touching my things, no, not really. Why do you ask? Have you noticed anyone strange while you were here? Because you must report it to Jonas and he'll have security handle it. To be honest, Luke Wright, I don't think anything paranormal is something that security is capable of dealing with. It's not a trespasser, but a mind sickness. But these reports better not be about ghosts and things that go bump up in the night. I don't want to waste manpower on the boogeyman or senseless witch hunts. I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Wright, but no, it's nothing like that. I guess the mansion is just strange for me. It's a unique project. No strange men or women lurking about then. A dead teenager would technically qualify as strange. But yeah, the whole I see dead people thing isn't going to go over well. None that I know of, but I'll inform Jonas immediately if something comes up. I'm serious, Mint. You see anything, anyone suspicious, and you report it immediately. I think that goes without saying. The concern he has on Batoka's security has gone quickly. His arrogant smug smirk returns, if a bit subdued. Whatever smirmy remark or innuendo he have at the ready never comes through, as voices from the dining hall ring out. So is this a full-time job for you then? Nah, I just freelance mostly for magazines, newspapers and events. So this is Hannah and Zachary. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least not all the time. That would be the magazine photographer, I presume. As always, Mrs. Wright talks in such a kind and cheery fashion, no matter who she's talking with. It certainly puts people at ease around her. It sounds like it's working on the photography too. Hearing them, though, seems to put Mr. Wright in a sour mood. At least, if his small scowl is anything to go by. Yeah, try and lighten up the mood. That always puts people at ease. You're not going to go out there and join Mrs. Wright? You're starting to look strained. If you want your picture taken so badly, I'm sure the photographer would oblige. What is it that you want to do then? Films, documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this actually. We need to get you away from the butler. You're starting to sound like him. No, I'm not joining Hannah for an interior design magazine photo. What am I, a piece of furniture? Look, do the lot of you have anything else crucial to do today, Marianne? There are still some little things to do. It isn't the end of the day. Yes, but you're paid hourly, aren't you? Per day? Really, I don't care. You and the others can just take off for the day. Why is he dismissing us early all of a sudden? Is this about a possible security threat? Did my question get him all weary and paranoid that he would just send the workers and I away? Dropped? Possibly dropped. I realise that threats are of actual concern to these rich and powerful people. I imagine, whether anyone wants to or not, they get a few enemies here and there. But I'm sure the foreman and his works can be trusted and are of no threat. Well, at least I trust the people I'm working with. I understand if he doesn't know them from a can of paint. Still, won't it be safer if there are people around who can watch their back? You're the boss. My being paid by the day aside, I won't be held responsible for any significant delay caused by your decisions. I'll try to get around it, of course, but I'll just remind you of the fact. Whatever. Take forever with the house, I don't give a bloody damn. Don't you worry, you're still getting your money. Just blank off, go crawl around a pub and find yourself a good lay. Oh my gosh. Paranoid and aggravated as he might be, this conversation certainly didn't have to warrant that sort of remark. Maybe I will. Walking out of the kitchen, I just accept the fact that whatever he says will go wild under his roof. Mrs. Wright and the photographer are still far too busy in conversation to notice me, even as I make my way through the dining hall. Besides, I didn't want to ruin their fun. Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Bleu Blanc very much. People didn't like a film about colours? I suppose they would have liked that a lot more. Going to the foyer has stumbled me upon the family butler once more, who raises a brow at my presence. And where are you off to in a hurry, miss? The foreman is looking for you. The butler wants me off the clock. He's dismissing us early because of, oh, I don't know. He just wants us out of here. I'll go and call a cab for you then. It'll be best that you leave when he asks you to. I don't doubt it. My ride back to the city doesn't take too long to get here. Not at all. Blank. Okay, to keep her mind off of things that haunted her, Marianne focused on assisting the Wrights during their move-in. Later that afternoon, she was chatting with Luke, who then demanded she and the rest of the crew take an early leave. Yep. All is well with these rich sods. My ride back to the city didn't take too long to get here. Granted, there were some difficulties at first because the driver didn't know where the Ermengarde Mansion is. He tried to have us hand over GPS coordinates from our smartphones, or some other techno babble I didn't care about, and the butler didn't understand. But as soon as we told him it's a haunted mansion over in the Silent Village, he knew just the place, and finally headed over, about with some hesitation. All the way back to the city, the driver keeps complaining about that place, giving him the chills, we're going to call that. It gives me chills too. I would have loved to slap at him. But as soon as the thought occurs to me, another blossoms in the forefront of my mind. One that has somehow bothered me greatly, more than my aspiration over whiskey and this project, wanting all of it to stop. There has been no Lorraine whispering over my ears today. Worse, I found myself searching for it. Searching for her. Loose ends. Blank, bloody loose ends everywhere. I thought I've already moved past this years ago, and it does nothing to help curb my frustration. Help me curb my frustration. If anything, it only ensures that I want a stiff drink. And where else do I go to drink? Of course. Tuesdays are for karaoke, and Wednesdays, improv. Usually, it's these four guys who did hilarious games. The one with Irish drinking songs are always a crowd favourite. For I love a good laugh, stand-up comedy isn't my thing. And without Cam or Haruna or any other distractions, I end up drinking a lot more this time. And when there's several bottles of beer in me, I get really, really embarrassing. Hey G, come over here, I need you for something. It's a good thing that the bartender's a nice fellow. I'll probably have been kicked out of other places by now, or worse. If push comes to shove, all he would do is give me an easy smile and a shake off his head, even when he's attending to other customers, just like now. Give me a moment, will you? I've gotta go check on her. He's some Asian guy, and I'm pretty sure I've seen him before a couple of times. Although he never talks to anyone except G, the girls used to be all over him too, but he always turns them away. Ah, that one? I'll be here. You go do that before she falls over. Alright, what is it? Do you need someone to help you get home? Bartender, pour the wine. I think that's enough alcohol for you, Felicity. I'm cutting you off. A whine comes from the back of my throat as he pulls my bottle away. I have no hope of getting them back once they're behind the counter. Even in my drunken mind, I don't dare hop over for them, because what little sense I have left knows I'd sooner take a floor dive than succeed in wresting a bottle from a sober man. But that doesn't stop me from trying to reach up with my arms like a stupid idiot anyways. He smiles and shakes his head, just like I know he would, before going back to the other guy. Right now, where we were. How you holding up, boy? With no drink and no one to really chat with, I would have to go home, or gone to sleep on the bar right there and there. But I'm ready to stand up and try to tack back home just yet. Same old, I'm just on the Luxborn firm case. Those blokes, they talk about being in dark suits, whispering people into the night or some blank and all that. Didn't media call it some ridiculous name in the morning news? What is it this time? Wait, don't answer that. They've called it a lot of things, as long as people don't start running around claiming they're the Illuminati. So, what have you got for me this time, G? Anything good? Slow down there. You haven't even told me what sort of deal and dosh we got. Who are you looking for this time? Their talk would have interested me, would have kept my attention if I gave a damn. But in my current state, I can barely give two fingers about the things that are going on around me. All these words are just buzzing, barely surfacing from the sea of sounds that is the pub. And it would have stayed that way, perhaps even drowned, if didn't hear his name. Luke Wright, you know the guy, and don't pretend you don't don't pretend like you don't, G. It takes a special kind of ignorant not to know who he is. That smug blonde who likes throwing round his money. He was just here a few days ago, as a matter of fact. Great tipper. If you think him just dumping a wad of cash on the counter after having too much whiskey counts as a tipping. Why are you asking? He dirty? You have no idea, G. He's probably the worst sort you can imagine. Luke Wright. Whiskey. Even without him around, I'm still hearing about the guy. What the absolute hell? Despite this, I found myself getting up and sheltering over to join them before I pipe up. Is this smug talk about Luke Wright I'm hearing, eh? Private conversation here, lady. There's only amusement on G's face. The Asian guy. He started to look tacked off as hell. Don't worry, Holmes, she's clean, and she might be able to help you with your, predicament. Of course, a drunk's just stumbled through here with what I need. Get real, G. No offense, lady, but you're smashed. I know, right? Nothing beats being drunk after a hard day's work, especially when you're working for Mr. Luke Wright. So she works with a guy? Doesn't that make her, I don't know, suspect? See, have a little faith in me, why don't you? I don't have much, and you might as well have something to go off. You're the one who was so desperate to come running to me for business. You still right here, fellas. 5'11", can't miss me, unlike Shorty over here. What's with that mad look? You want to dance, boy? You don't look like you can bust a groove. Maybe a leg with that fancy coat of yours. To add insult to injury, I move directly behind him and use the top of his hat as an armrest. But when he shakes me off, I plop into the seat right next to him. Don't try me. You can hardly stay on your feet. We don't want to ruin your fancy coat, do we? Children, the both of you. But you're still standing after all that, are you? Man, you see this giant gentness? She's a legendary regular here. Been drinking like there's no tomorrow. I'm a bit jealous. Can't do that anymore or my liver will give out on me. Good with a mic too. Don't see you much recently. I guess you're always busy, aren't you? You're some fancy designer or something if I remember correctly. Wait, I know you. You're at the open house for a mansion. Yeah, that's right. Marianne McCullough. I'm a famous interior designer extraordinaire. Oh, the rhymes. Anyway, guys, you guys were talking about that weenie Luke Wright. Or something. Can't really talk about it. I don't even know if I can trust you. Even if G's say you're clean, but anything would be of help. Well, I don't gossip about my clients if that's all there is to this. You wanted to gossip about him a few minutes ago, Marianne. And that was the beer talking, not Marianne. You won't mind if we ask the beer a few questions then. Maybe, depends on who's asking and what they're asking. But seriously, that guy is frustrating. I don't mind swear words, I just don't like reading them out. One moment he's an absolute blankhead, and then he's acting like an actual decent human being the next. I just can't figure him out. I can't imagine how that pretty wife of his can put up with him. If I were her, I'd dump his flat ass straight up. And I'm not just saying it because I think Hannah's pretty or anything. Luke is a catch too, they both are. But I really cannot, for the love of all things holy, see how they even work out together. So, Luke, right, have you noticed anything strange about him while you were working with him? Anything peculiar of note? You're the one being peachy right now about Holmes, but nah, nothing that comes to mind off the top of my head. He's just like most rich, scrawny assholes and then some. A giggle bubbles up as I press. A bubble went up my throat as well, called a burp. A giggle bubbles up and I press my cheek against the cool countertop with my eyes shut tight just because. And that's eventually cracking one eye open just in case they thought I fell asleep. I grin at Holmes. So Holmes, I guess you're some private detective or something. Is it Hannah? Did she pay you to look if he's been... Oh. Hannah's the wife, right? What about her? How is she? How is she or how is she? Well and good. Death hick leave a nicer of the two. Okay. Not a private detective then. Are you from one of those tabloids wanting to know if the look right doesn't know how to put his pants on right? Ah, here we go. Slipping. I haven't been this drunk in such a long time. It's a miracle I've been coherent for as long as I've been right now. I'm asking if you've noticed any odd behaviour from her. Odd behaviour what? I wonder how she'd... Oh, okay. What do you think? Those are serious questions, Marianne. Lives might just be at stake here. What do you expect? She's smashed. Why am I even doing this? This is getting me nowhere, G. She's not a reliable source. The chief, let alone the cause, aren't going to take the word of a drunk. This will be dismissed and might be in trouble if they try to argue that I coerced her testimony out of her. This is a bloody train wreck. You're a bloody train wreck now, if you ask me. Maybe it's about time you apply the brakes and stop for a bit. The wave of despair that comes over with both of them is palpable. If feelings had a taste, it would be bitterer than the beer I'm full of. And it gets me thinking, though thinking doesn't get me far with too much shite in my system. You know that's not an option. Thanks for being patient, McClough. Good luck with your work on that mansion. Speaking of that mansion, there's something going on in that place. Something. No wonder Mr. Heckwright likes it so much. He's as fishy as he is, rotten bloke. Maybe that Santos goes really onto something. Suspicious blank. I'll tell ya. Explains why she's reluctant. What do you mean that Santos goes onto something? Before I get another word out, his hands on my shoulder and everything starts to spin. I quickly slap his hands away, the best I can, and send him the foulest look I can muster. Take your hands off me, Bipsqueak. I'm not a lady who's shaken or stirred unless you want me up-chicking on your pretty hair. But it's just like I said. Are you sure you aren't brain damaged or deaf? Santa's girl from BRC showed us this creepy letter, you know, just like those spam stuff you get in your emails. We thought it was some joke, or that the girl was just a bit too green to handle a big sale like that. You just seen the look on their faces when they saw it. whiskey. That Luke right, you get me, and that missus didn't look too happy either. I should have taken a picture and posted it everywhere. When rich snobs give you that face, no wonder the Santos girl went all mental on us. Working with them does that, you know. I think I'm about to... I'm not mental yet, am I? Anyway, just like I said, in that man... Hey, you okay? Holmes? You look a bit shaky yourself. And he really is pale. Paler than before, at least. I can see the gears turning his head on over time. Ah, suddenly he shows a card in my hand. On it, his name, Ashton Frey, and his number. Police Department. He must be a detective because he's not in uniform. But he has second thoughts as he grabs it from me and slips it into my pocket. Hahaha, you're cute, pretty boy, but I prefer blondes. Well, you're not exactly my type either, lady. But listen to me, if something comes up, don't do anything rash. If you think you're in danger or if you see anything suspicious, call me and the authorities as soon as possible. You understand me? That's 99. I know what the damn emergency number is. Right, 999, good. Anyway, I have to run. See you, G. The guy's quick on his feet, already up and at him, as soon as the numbers leave his lips. Watching him as he maneuvers through the crowd of other pub-goers is enough to tire me out. Fast as he can, he's at the door and throws us a smile, and that's all we get before he's gone just like that. Boy, what about your drink, boy? I'll go put it on your tab then. Holmes, boy, always like that, jeez. Pretty much. But what about you? I suppose I'll put your drinks on your tab too. Don't want you to spill your wallet when you look like you're close to spinning yourself. Yeah, and if it's fine by you, I think I'll go take a bit of a cat nap here. Just for a sec or two. Go right ahead. I'll wake you up when I close up shop. Swimming in cocktails. I hope nothing horrific appears in your dreams. The interior designer once again drunk her frustrations away at the crawl bar. Albeit heavily intoxicated, she was seen chatting with Ashton Free, a detective inspector working for the LPD, about Luke Wright. Before abruptly leaving, the detective left his calling card. Mumbling a sleepy thanks, I doze off on the spot, face pressed on the counter. Already, I dread the pain I'll have for sleeping in such a position. But when you gotta go, you gotta go. Oh, Marianne, how long have you been standing there, dearie? Come join us, Marianne. We won't bite, unless you ask, that is. Not that I could get much sleep to begin with. October the 28th, February. Do people ever have a feeling that they're working on something they really enjoy, but still, it eventually tires them out? Because honestly, I've been feeling like this. You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvellous and in such a short time too. Though moments like these make all the hard work worth it. Definitely. Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the right mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom. Oh no, we proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him, but having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables, he may as well let me have this one thing. We're only about halfway done, but the honest satisfaction on the client's face is enough for me to push through. Let's face it, in between my exasperation and Mr. Wright's antics and her, I've been burning the candles at both ends. I can't even close my eyes without seeing a dead girl's face. Dead girl, dirt. She's dirt. I have to keep reminding myself that, burying my feelings as deep as they've buried her body, 6 feet under. I shouldn't wasted so much time on someone who's supposed to be gone. I've waited so many years thinking about her already. There should be no need to bother myself with the dead, when I should be bothering myself with the living. Too bad the living are usually as complicated, if not more, than ghosts of the past. But don't you have a party? Yeah, yes, but Luke's just been a sweaty, you see. That friend he's visiting, he has martial problems, and he's just trying to cheer him up. It's even more complicated when the living in question is a pair of rich and famous societies, way past their honeymoon phase. And I have been somehow roped into being a relationship counselor. They've been married for a long time and they've hit a, how'd you say, a rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband, but it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost their romantic spark. What do you think? Perhaps it has been the years, perhaps not. It might just be the little things that have built up all this time. But, in any case with things like these, I've seen couples take time apart just to cool off. Sometimes they get back together in the end with lighter hearts, and sometimes they don't get back together at all, but part on better terms. What if said couple are very public figures? They wouldn't want to take time apart unless it was really necessary. They wouldn't want people to talk. Well, that's a load of guff. Not to mention that makes them a bit thick, doesn't it? Forget about what other people say. That's their relationship and they should do what's best for them. Why she thinks a single woman like me would be the best source of relationship advice is beyond me. Still, I talk and answer to the best of my abilities. Without realizing it, I'm already pouring out a part of me that I thought was long gone. I like to believe my words would be of some help to Mrs. Wright. If I'm honest though, they are of some help to me, like some weight has been taken off my shoulders. Lorraine. I really should handle what's left of the work. You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne. The weight of what happened to her hasn't left me yet, did it? Maybe. I'll try to stay and chat, maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event, my apologies. Busy, busy, busy. You must stay a while. I'd love you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to Belize at least. If it weren't for them, I've never even heard of you. Maybe it's about time I changed that. We'll see. So if I can be excused? Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready even when they're not supposed to be until an hour later. Though I shouldn't dwell on the dead, I shouldn't just carelessly forget about them too. Saying that I have work left to do is an easy enough excuse to make. I know how other people see me. They see someone so obsessed with her craft that she would so easily miss things like a party for it. Outside the parlour, people hurry about here and there in preparation for the Wright's grand housewarming party. None spare me a glance as I slip past them, each working on their appointed roles and not daring to slack off while they work for what is probably the most powerful couple in Luxbourne. I'll make it into the kitchen with ease, the wine cellar being my final destination. I was just looking at the time, that's all. I think we're still good for a few more minutes. I'll make it into the kitchen with ease, the wine cellar being my final destination. But when is a great task ever simple? Probably never. And this is a great task, isn't it? My greatest one yet there is worthy of being called a quest. I'm not acting as Marianne, professional interior designer, when I chose to lie about being too busy for a party. I'm Marianne, a lawful neutral cleric with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma. Just think of it like that makes it a bit cheesy, but it helps with the fear. It helps overcome the insane thoughts that I'm actively seeking out something that has been plaguing me for years. I might face my worst nightmare, or I might see nothing and find my self-imaged grand quest fall flat. And who would have thought that the gatekeeper to my final quest would be someone I thought would be a valuable ally? Snail! Hurry up, you snails! We are on a deadline and you are wasting my time. The butler comes from the cellar and into the kitchen, tailed by a couple of others, people who I assume are most likely chefs and bartenders. He raises a brow, seeing me just standing there by the hatch by the trap door. It almost looks like he's going to throw me out for being in the kitchen without permission. But then He motions for the others to disperse and familiarize themselves with their surroundings. Meanwhile, he continues to stand there, preventing entry into the darkness beyond. What are you doing here? This is not a place for guests or blank right now. I'll request you leave. I was just looking around for any last-minute things. Yes, you have been doing that a lot. Looking around, snooping about. Now is not time for such things. If you're not careful, people might think you are up to something. The look he gives me as he says is almost chilling. If life was a game book, he'd probably be the true neutral warlock guarding the treasure room. A difficult opponent to beat with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in dexterity. Well, I'm not done yet. I actually need to go into the wine cellar. Just need a quick go at the place. So just don't mind me. I'll be out of your hair soon enough. Go outside. Enjoy the party. Brisk in the phrase and adultation, there will be no doubt shower you with when the madam speaks highly of you. Surely you've had enough of this stiffy old kitchen by now. You don't want to cause trouble. Both the Bratwurst and Hannah wants this to be perfect. It would be a disservice and disrespect to tear out of line and risk it being anything otherwise. And more importantly, I will be blamed for any failures that happened tonight. His intervention almost turns me away. Maybe this is a sign I'm not meant to seek Lorraine out. But, please, I just lost something the last time I was down there. It's really important. 15 minutes! Nah, 10 minutes! Any longer and I'll pull you out there myself. But Bratwurst will be furious if he thinks anyone is touching his precious wine without his permission. Thank you, this seriously means a lot. He steps aside begrudgingly. At this point, it looks like there's no turning back. The cellar greets me ominously as I descend. The space feels smaller, with a lot more bottles lined the walls compared to before, and knowing what might be waiting for me here makes things worse. I almost hope in a morbid and twisted sense that Lorraine would just be standing there waiting for me. It would just be like her to joke about inappropriately meeting in the darkness, subdued areas. But just like the broken bottles and wine that were spilled on the ground before, no trace of her can be found. Lorraine, where are you? Lorraine, I miss you, you know. Only silence replies. Funny that when you want to find something, that's the time when you can't. The thought that I won't be able to see Lorraine one last time fills me with such despair. Sure, it was crazy to come here willingly in the first place, but all I'm really looking for is closure. And if I can't see her, the least I can do is offer her a prayer. On the verge of tears, I kneel in the middle of the dark, damp wine cellar and put my hands together in prayer. May God grant her eternal rest, and this is when her laughter fills the air. It rings along the walls until it echoes in my head, and like a siren song, it draws me in. It draws me in before comes to a stop upon reaching a dead end. Oh, could it be an adventure then? A secret passage? There must be a hidden switch somewhere. Go look. This is the most interesting thing you've done by far. A secret entrance, although the idea in and of itself is inane, only makes this entire endeavour even more perilous, but I need to find a way to open it. Already I'm running my hands against the wall in order to find some sort of hidden switch. It didn't give when I tried to push it open before. And I doubt that would have changed anytime soon. But if there's a door, there's always a way to open it, hopefully without the need to break it down. A shame I can't roll for prescription checks in real life. It's such a silly thing to say out loud, though there is no amusement on my face, and I do check, glancing at the mirror from the study. Though a sanity check would be more befitting right now, wouldn't it? I mean, how long have I been down here searching for a switch for a hidden door, in order to go find a dead girl, no less? It isn't only unreasonable, it's insane at this point. They'll find me clawing at the walls, using my nails to try and see if there are any grooves or catches I might have missed. I'm surprised. I haven't gone past the 10 minutes that was given to me, and that I'm not being hauled out of here. I don't want to bank on the chance that I have more time, although I know it's... we shouldn't let those kinds of things bother me too much right now. If I don't continue looking, there's no point in me going down here. Dirt and rocks stick underneath my fingernails in my search, but There! A section of a wall about the size of my palm, and just as well hidden as the hollow wall is a switch, or a button rather. Face it, Tigris. You've just hit the jackpot. The excitement I feel at the discovery finds me pressing it without a second thought. But when a click echoes in the cellar and the hidden room creaks open, I stop. Of course one should stay. It seems so cliche, like a death trap from an old horror movie. It might very well be a dead end down there, but hopefully... So, it might very well be a dead end down here. Hopefully, not literally. Though I have no reason to fear for my life, it is hard to think I will be in any way safe if I continue in there. The thought makes a chill run down my spine, yet nothing is as paralyzing as what I hear next. It's distant and alien, and it's enough to make me look nervous as at what I might see there. Behind me I only see... Lorraine, you're here. I thought I would never see you again. I can't even question how in God's name is that possible. Seeing her there fills me with such a strange feeling relief. I've told myself I was ready to move on, yet here I am, ready and willing just to embrace her back again with open arms. Her beautiful blonde hair, her soft lips with skin so fair and swaying her hips. She laughs and the smile she sends my way as she walks over makes my chest feel tight. But her eyes are the most beautiful of all. I'm so sorry. I must look like a right mess. It's been so long. I'm here, Em. I'm here now. Don't you worry. Come here. It takes everything I have not to tear up at the sight of her. She reaches out and slips my fingers through mine before pulling me away from the tunnel and towards the mirror, our reflection. A grown woman and a teenage barely past her prime lends a bizarre light to this whole scene. I can't imagine how you've been so long all these years. I left you, Lorraine. I didn't mean to, but that's what I did. I don't even know if you could ever forgive me. Don't cry, it doesn't suit your pretty face. Besides, I don't have to be alone anymore, do I? You're here for me, aren't you? You'll never leave me again, will you? My mouth goes dry as she looks at me. This isn't the plan. This isn't closure. Yet her hand in mine makes me believe that this is real. She's real. And that's all that matters, nothing else. Yes, of course, I wouldn't dare leave you. You swear you won't leave me? I swear to God I won't, Lorraine. Though her smile remains, I can only describe her expression as sad. She walks around until she stands just behind me and wraps my arms around my wrist. I nearly crumble with how I am in her arms once more, and when she puts her chin in the choke of my neck, and I feel her hot breath on my neck, I feel both joy and grief. The scent of chocolate, almonds, honey, and beer surrounded me. My first taste of love, the love I denied. It's been so bittersweet. God's not the only one you're making promises to, Mary Ann. Swear it to me. Or even better, prove it to me. I'll stay with you forever, Lorraine. I'll swear it to you. How do I even prove it to you? Simple. She presses something in my hand. A large glass shard from a wine bottle. Cold and sharp. You join me. Is she just suggesting that I die for me? Lorraine, but that's... How can I? How can I even do such a thing? There's no need to be scared. I'll be here for you until the end, Mary Ann. Even if you hadn't done the same for me. But that's the only way I can forgive you. The only way we can be together again. Well then. How great is that? She glides my hand, raising the glass shard. My own hands are weak, as is my will, and I can only bare my neck to do it with as she wishes. There is no reason, no self-preservation. As I mindlessly welcome my own death, as it will lead me to my salvation, I fear nothing at first, other than the glass touching my skin like a caress until a stinging sensation blooms from my neck. The pain sneers and burns like nothing I've felt before, and every breath intensifies the feeling. Even if I wanted to cry and scream, I can only cough as a sleek metallic taste coats my tongue. The most I can do beyond that is rasp out, calling for her name. cold and weak. I grow worse by the second. I cough with each ragged breath, expelling the blood that I'm inhaling through my slit throat. Hush now. It'll be over soon. Really soon. There is a moment of doubt as I remember that the devil was once the most beautiful angel in heaven, that I shouldn't be deceived by such beauty. But in my final moments, all of that is soon forgotten. My mouth twitches. I can't muster even the smallest of smiles anymore. Oh, but I'll be with Lorraine. You've unlocked a memory fragment. Desperate to deal with her painful past, Mary Ann excused herself from attending the housewarming party to search for Amy Lorraine within the mansion. Seeing her again, however, made her decide to join her dead friend instead. You've unlocked a memory fragment. Wow. This is how it begins. Or so they say. Well then, I don't think we're going to be seeing much of Mary Ann from that point onwards, from that date. So we are going to... That's actually probably going to be the perfect point to leave it off here, folks. Picking the other option means we will be going back up and joining the party. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and as always we will see each other the next time of the letter, where we'll be starting to play as Rebecca. Have a good day and take care of yourselves.